everyone. So if we have Kalpana ji and Hitendra ji, of course, we should have Sajan and Raj Rana. Jai Baba Swami Sajan and Jai Baba Swami Raj.
Jai Baba Swami.
Jai Baba Swami. Sajan and Raj are two sons of Hitendra ji and Kalpana ji, and like we have this session for the whole Rana family. So I'm going to introduce Sajan to everyone. Sajan is a creative from Montreal, Canada. During his day, he works as a business consultant for Apple. Outside of his 8 to 5 job, he's a designer working with a Canadian musician as creative director and designing his own company titled Akoi, ACOI, which Sajan will talk about more later. In my interactions, I noticed that Sajan is very sincere and is a very mature person. It is so good to know you, Sajan.
Thank you.
Raj is an interior designer. He's a younger kid of Hitendra ji and Kalpana ji. He's from Montreal, residing in North Carolina. He's currently the lead stylist at a home furnishing store, but has plans to join interior architecture industry in New York City. In my interactions with Raj, I noticed that he's very caring and very dedicated person. So both Sajan and Raj are very courteous and carry very good energy around them. Also, as a mini treat for our audience, we have a piece choreographed by Raj. He was leading Indian dance group called Jalwa and choreographed this dance sequence during the UNCG college days. I'm going to play that for the whole audience. I used to be part of the dance group in my young age, and it is so hard to stop myself right now.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this is from my college days, literally just a few years ago. But yeah, it was quite an experience being able to choreograph this amazing dance.
It is beautiful. So I'm sure everybody got a glimpse. I really have a tear in my eye because of the energy flow from Hitendra ji and Kalpana ji, and this energy flow from Raj and Sajan. I am really moved. So we're going to move ahead with the interview now. So Sajan and Raj, I am very excited to hear from you. So my first question for both of you would be, share any memories of your childhood with Swamiji when he visited your place or when you attended any of the Guru Purnima or Chaitanya Mahotsav event.
Yeah. So first, and like the first memory I have is obviously I was still young, but I remember that we hosted Swamiji at our home, and I didn't understand it exactly what it was at the time. I was just way too young to even know what was going on. But knowing that we're 19 years later and we're here today, and just seeing like the mass majority of how much this has grown, it is a very humbling experience to know that we were able to kind of be in front of Swamiji or even just get any sort of knowledge or just be in his presence. That was very interesting. The biggest memory I have, in 2007, I was still young at that time too, but we went to one of his Guru Purnimas and he was giving a discourse. I slept through majority of the thing. I was too young to even understand what all this was, and I'm a kid, so I'm just kind of like, I have a gajillion things running through my brain. So I slept through a lot of it and I was getting a little bored, but there was one part that really stood out to me. And it was that he was explaining Samarpan meditation to an alcoholic. And what I loved is that he told the alcoholic that you don't need to change any part of your behavior. You don't need to stop drinking. You don't need to stop doing whatever it is you're doing. What I do want you to do is just sit down for 5 minutes or 15 minutes and just try something. I like that open-minded approach, and I think has stayed with me throughout my life. But that's one memory or one part of the discourse that I'll always go back to, even if I was sleeping through it. I remember that I heard that part, and it has stayed with me since.
Beautiful. Raj, do you want to share your memory?
Sure, yeah. So, Jai Baba Swami, everyone. So, as my dad mentioned previously, the first time Swamiji landed to our home was actually on my birthday. It was Ganesh Chaturthi as well. So it was just like a large, a large event at our home. At least for me, because it was my birthday. I was turning 3 years old, and at the time, as a 3-year-old, you're just a big ball of energy. I'm running around the house. I don't really necessarily understand what's going on, but I just see more so like there's more people to celebrate. So I just had more friends to come into our home. So by more friends, I mean, for example, Swamiji was there. There was this, what had happened was, during my time as a kid, I was totally into dinosaurs. I love collecting dinosaur stickers and watching dinosaur movies and this and that. And on my birthday, the evening that Swamiji had come over, he actually had bought me a gift because he knew, I'm sure my father told Swamiji it was also my birthday and everything that was going on. But he handed me a little dinosaur pillow with like this interactive arm. And I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And I distinctly remember this photo because I had come down running from the stairs and I came into Swamiji's room, next door to his room, and he handed me this pillow as a gift. And I remember asking, how does he know that I like dinosaurs? Like that was the first thing in my head. But as I grew up, it became like a integral part. It was just like, as a kid, like you make forts and have sleepovers. So I'd always bring it. I'd always have that pillow as part of my fort or as like part of my thing. And it was, at the time, I didn't understand what that necessarily meant, but it was more so like, I perceive it now as a way that Swamiji has necessarily like blessed my life throughout my life. And so that I consider that pillow as a way of like a symbol for saying that Swamiji blessed me with a gift, and now I carry it through my life. I still have the pillow downstairs. Unfortunately, the little arm broke off because it's just old now, but it's still upstairs in the garage somewhere.
Wow, what a beautiful share, Sajan and Raj. What Sajan shared today, that you don't have to leave anything in Samarpan meditation, that strikes with many people and resonates with many people. And I'm very glad that Sajan picked up on this and remembers it and carried it with him throughout. As Guruji says that what is good will stay and what is not will be left behind automatically. So it is so perfectly expressed, Sajan. And Raj's story is very, very touching for me. I think it is a dream of every child to get a pillow from Guruji. That is such a sweet memory. And I'm glad, Raj, that you remember it. And you still have the pillow. I'm going to touch that pillow one day. And I'm sure more than the pillow, you remember the feeling that, which you must have felt, like you mentioned, which is your connection to Guruji probably even today. So I'm very glad to hear your memories and reliving with you both. And now that you both kids have grown up, what would you like to share with the audience today about your personal and professional life?
There you go. So I'm what you would call a digital nomad. I travel a lot between Montreal, Toronto, New York, and North Carolina. All of this traveling, including my job at Apple, allows me to always meet new people, new businesses, new personalities. And it's just like a really cool place where I get to combine my passion for photography and creating, and then also just for designing and technology. So I get to like live in that space as far as my professional life. And then I've built a passion for photography, and this is actually one of my photos. This was shot on an iPhone when we went to India in 2017. This is from the backside of the Taj Mahal at 5:33 or something in the morning. But I love designing. I love capturing moments. I love being able to present ideas. And if you go to the next slide, um, this is actually my next project. It's called Akoi, and I'm still in the process of building it. But it stands for a collection of ideas, which was inspired by that trip from India. A little bit of background: before I went to that trip to India, I had a business here in Montreal where we were selling and manufacturing jackets and clothing upwards $300, $800. We were really in like a high end market. But when I went to India, one thing I learned and that I absorbed is that India and other countries like it are a place that have everything. But unlike the Western world, they're not consumed by what they have. And I love that fact is that they just appreciate everything around them. And it's such a selfless way of consuming life and taking in things. So I wanted to bring that approach to modern design. And that's why Akoi slash a collection of ideas is my next project. Outside of this, I also work as a designer and photographer, an art director for CJ Flemings. He's an artist here from Montreal and Toronto. So these were just images and some of the stuff, the shows that we did in Montreal and Toronto. We did some stuff in North Carolina also a while ago. We were supposed to be in London in October. We didn't get a chance to do that because of COVID. But all of this kind of allows me just to basically always meet people, always create. It's the mindset that I think the upbringing that just kind of allowed me to do all of this. But this is the world I live in.
Beautiful, Sajan.
Thank you.
You want to share?
Sure. So again, my name is Raj. I just recently graduated from the University of North Carolina. While my brother is more so based in Montreal, I moved with my parents actually. They're with me today, or I'm sitting with them actually. But I'm a recent graduate from the University of North Carolina. I did my BFA in interior architecture, and I'm currently a home stylist, interior designer for a company called West Elm. Um, during my BFA or during my time in school, basically, what I do professionally is I create spaces based off of clients' needs and wants, and I create like I've done breweries, for example. I've done headquarters for Instagram as a fictional type of project. I like to create spaces where people feel comfortable, where people can feel at home, where people can feel like they can be human, be like regular people, and feel comfortable and accepted everywhere that they go. Um, in a space like this, it's like it's a brewery, but it's, you know, you can have a lounge space, you can rent it out, you can have baby showers, you can have different sort of gatherings and stuff. Last year, I did an internship in New York City where I was working with one of the top rated firms in the world called M. Moser Associates. And that experience, because they're connected globally, that experience made me realize that design and what I could do, my passion, can be thrown not just in America, but it can be thrown out globally. And I feel as though my personal life, being able to ground myself, being able to also be able to be vocal with people, connect with other souls and people and human being, that also enabled me to have this mindset, to have this understanding of the world. And I like sketching, I love drawing, I love being a visual person. So these are just some sketches that I've had doing a case study.
Wow, I am so impressed, Sajan and Raj. And I think what is most inspiring for me is that you both have very beautiful intentions behind selecting your field of work. Because that is so important, like in today's time, it is so important for your soul, your connection to yourself, right? Like Sajan said, he got inspired from observing in India that they treasure everything they have. And I think that's what makes us all very contented, and that what gives us all peace, right? And that's where you start growing. And he wants to impact people from his talent. And Raj wants to utilize his skills in helping people have a greater space to collaborate. So I really love that about both of you. And you both have this artistic side, which is very inspiring. I know that Sajan loves to do photography, and I'm very, very sure that his photography will impact many people. For some, it looks like, it's just clicking a photograph, but I've seen personally my husband doing it that it does take one finding the right spot to click the photograph, which has a meaning behind it, and then processing it and bringing it to the audience so that it appeals to them and resonates with them. It is beautiful, and all the best for Akoi. And I hope you have another session with Flamingo, if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. So, wish you
Yeah,
all the best, Arjun. And we
thank
will all keep an eye on you, by the way. And Raj, it is so inspiring to see your designs. I love it, like you mentioned, you were just doing this from childhood, sketching it while sitting it, right? So it feels like your soul was calling for it from the beginning. So, and I'm very glad you know it from the beginning what you want to do. Again, very artistic and something you need to even the spiritual side, right? I mean, having an artistic side makes you develop from every angle. And I cannot imagine a field of work where you don't need creativity or artistic side. So you guys are like a full bouquet of complete package. This is very inspiring. And again, all the best, Raj, for any endurance you want to do, any field you work on. So very glad to hear from both of you. So impressive. So I'm going to move to the next question. I've heard that you both are about to do a beautiful Guru Karya related to Samarpan meditation, and we are very excited to know about it. Would you like to give some insights to us now?
Yeah, so my dad loves to be able to present ideas and be able to present summary for meditation. Um, Being as I'm a creative in graphic design and product, and being able to present ideas, I'm actually going to be partnering with my dad and a few people on this call, just to help build a little bit of a new brand identity and logo for summary for meditation and how to present it in the US or the Western market. Um, so that'll be like, I feel like that's where I can combine what my skill set is and bring something to Samarpan meditation. So that's what I'll be doing.
Wow, I'm really looking forward to that. Raj?
I will be, so I've been added onto the design group helping to create the new ashram that's going to be located in Canada. That's going to serve both Americas, in the upcoming future. But Videsh uncle and Avnish uncle both invited me onto the project to be kind of like an interior design consultant, as Swamiji moves his statue and his new location into this space. And I'm super excited to be able to introduce this design process into the Americas, because it's already been created and been translated in India through the multiple ashrams that are already there. And so we're going to translate the same type of design, same type of energy into the Western Hemisphere, which is exciting.
I am so excited to look. I'm really looking forward to it because I feel like volunteer work is something very close to my heart. So I cannot tell you, Sajan and Raja, that how happy we are that you both will be doing this beautiful Guru Karya. I remember opening your slides and felt so much energy. So I'm very sure that you will bring this positive energy in the volunteer work too. Hope many youngsters get inspired today and join hands in volunteering. Really looking forward to the Samarpan USA logo from Sajan and beautifully designed Canada Ashram area from Raj. Thank you both. So I'll move on to the next question. You have grown up in a family where a living guru is worshipped as God or messenger. Do you find this conflicting with your current mindset in Western lifestyle?
Um, I would say in a way, yes. So I could speak for myself, but I don't consider Swamiji as a deity or a god, more so as a guide or somebody who taught us something that they learned in the world, to better just align with the world, nature, the universe, and just kind of realign with ourselves. My parents brought us up following Hinduism, but obviously they emphasize the ethics and morals of it more so than anything else. Yes, we went to the mandir or temple. Yes, we went to cultural events, and we got a lot of chances to consume the Indian and Hinduism culture. But we also went to a lot of churches. We also went to, if we could, we went to like mosque or whatever. Like my dad and my mom always allowed us to experience other parts of the world and other people's faiths and beliefs. And I feel like that open-mindedness and then combining it with something like meditation or Samarpan meditation, just allowed us to not look at Swamiji like in a religious way or as really as a god or anything, but more so just as somebody who's helping us understand what God is, understanding what faith and energy in the universe is. Um, so I look at him more like a guide, and I think that's what my parents allowed me and Raj to understand also. Um, so yeah, it was a great learning opportunity to realign.
I consider Swamiji in a similar sense as Sajan, in the sense that Swamiji is more so an energy that is in our lives. But I also wanted to mention that having an energy, it's again, it's not, we don't necessarily consider that, it's kind of like a universal consciousness that helps us guide our decisions, helps us guide our actions in a positive direction. We try to, as much as we can, try to kind of devote time to meditate, and by meditate, more so realign our thoughts, realign our goals, focus on ourselves, focus on who we are as human beings, and definitely try to just hone in and narrow down our hectic and busy lives that occur every day. And so that's kind of where my relationship with Swamiji is. With that being said, like our family, being able to, like my dad said earlier, we have a room dedicated to meditation. That I consider that like a privilege, because we the family that I'm in is so positive and so open-minded, and I know that that's not something that everyone has the ability or has the luxury of having. And so with that being said, it is a privilege to be able to be raised in a family that is always talking about focusing on yourself, but also putting out good energy into the world, putting out good positive thoughts. And that's kind of where my relationship with Swamiji is, where Swamiji helps us as a family even just, how you say, humble ourselves and realign our thoughts and go forth in the world with positive energy.
Wow, that is so beautiful, Sajan Raj again. Sounds like you both have learned a way of living through seeing Guruji, as he's more like a role model for you guys with regards to spiritual aspect of your life. As one has to balance the personal, professional, social, and spiritual life. And like Guruji says, that once you add spiritual aspect to your life, the other aspects of your life start getting uplifted. And it looks like for you both, you have learned that and got motivated and inspired in so many ways from Guruji and parents like Hitendra ji and Kalpana ji, that knowingly or unknowingly, you have utilized that in every part of your life. This is very inspiring, and I hope that many youngsters are listening today, and may all souls could learn these values from childhood, as it is a perfect age to imbibe these good values, and then and then one can, achieve all round growth in midst of this crazy life we all live in, right? So this is good, and I have noticed that Samarpan meditation or any meditation, if we know it, we can be in any part of the globe, but we know what we want, we are clear with what we need to do, and if we carry good values with us, we can survive and we can be very successful and live fully there. So I'm very happy you shared that. So going to my another question, would be my last question for you today. Would you recommend Samarpan meditation to the younger generation?
I would. I think we live very hectic lives. Um, there's always things going on, and we all need a way to realign and decompress sometimes. Um, Meditation for me has taken many forms. It's not always sitting down in front of a photo or lighting a candle. For me, it has also been sometimes where I'm in a busy public transit on my way home or something, and I can just zone out for a little bit and forget everything and just feel like I'm the only thing there. And I feel like that's a form of meditation for me. Sometimes if it's at nighttime and I'm just looking at the stars and just absorbing how small we are in the universe, that's a way of meditating for me, because I just feel like I can forget about everything for a minute and just be at peace for those times. I always look at it also like, I think the way I explain it to people is if you have a car, we need to get our tires realigned once in a while, because we're always taking bumps and stuff. Same thing in our lives. There's always things coming at us, other people's personalities, our coworkers, our families, our relationships, the news, social media, whatever. There's always things being hit at our brain, at our bodies, and we need a moment to just realign, and slow down so we can come back into the world better the next day. Um, and that's what I was saying. Also, I was telling Raj the other day, we were talking about this, but I do feel like I'm able to recharge a little or just recalibrate myself. And I just feel like I'm more effective the next day or the next time I come back out into the world after meditating. So to the younger generation, or just to people or anybody actually on this call, or to anybody you want to explain it to, you're going to start seeing that meditation is coming more and more frequently in businesses. Something I'm also seeing at Apple is they focus heavily on mental state, mental health, and meditation, how that could be a big factor in solving that. You're going to start seeing in business rooms that they are having meditation rooms or more prayer rooms or more leisure rooms. Raj can probably speak to that a little bit more. But that is definitely something I see coming more and more. This talk is more frequented amongst people. And no matter what religion or faith it is, it's not a religious thing. I think it's really just a calibration and aligning with the universe thing, and understanding that you're more than just your brain and a heart. You also have a soul. And this is a way to look after your soul. So yes.
I think Sajin said it really beautifully. That's exactly. I mean, I agree with him 100%. It's a matter of, again, like I mentioned, it's just realigning yourself, understanding where you are in the world, where you are in the universe, and being and saying, okay, I went through a hard day today, or I've just been so busy, and I need to just sit down to myself, focus, and then I'm gonna eat dinner, or like I'm gonna shower or something, just to feel good, just to feel as though you took the day in, you took all of life in, and just feel as though I'm at peace, I'm good, and tomorrow when I wake up, I'm gonna feel better. And so, what to answer the question, I would say yes, for sure, 100%. It's it's about giving yourself the time to, like Sajid said, realign. Giving yourself the time to um, find yourself again. I think COVID, with the quarantine and everything that's going on, it almost forced people to take a pause. The world was just going, and coronavirus hit us as a race, as a human race, that like we need to stop. There's something affecting us, but it allowed us to self-isolate, to be with no one but ourselves. And I think that's the perfect time to understand where you are in the world, who you are in the world, and what you want to accomplish. Swamiji and having Samarpan meditation allowed us to use this quarantine, to use 2020 actually, all of it to understand, okay, this is how, well, for myself at least, this is who I am. This is, I want to identify myself as, I want to, this is how I align my goals. So meditation has definitely helped me pick and choose what I want to put out back into the world. And just to go off of what Sajin said earlier, it's that meditation can take many forms. If you don't feel comfortable sitting on the floor and crossing your legs and meditating, that's okay. Allow yourself to find a different form of meditation. Even if it's just speaking out into the world. I'm a pure soul. I'm a holy soul in bed right before you go to sleep. That's a sort of meditation as well, because you're realigning your thoughts. You're realigning who you are and what you want to put out into the world. And again, like I said in the slide, it's a matter of practice to give yourself the time and to give Samarpan meditation the time to surrender those thoughts, to surrender all the negative energy around us, and just put it back into Mother Earth, into the universe, and just feel good. It's just a matter of giving yourself the time to do so. So find what makes you feel comfortable and practice how it makes you feel comfortable.
Sadhan and Raj, you both are such good speakers that I really would love to record you both one day and share it with all the youngsters, because I can tell you just listening to you, I'm going in a meditative state. So I can imagine a youngster, because they are far more open hearted and pure. If they listen to you, I am so sure that they will at least try meditation. And again, your answer is so beautiful. You both touch the heart of Samarpan meditation in your own unique way. And as a matter of fact, any meditation. Because isn't that the whole point? That if one can stay balanced and centered, it leads to happiness and success, which we all are looking for. And like you both said, it is not about that 30 minutes, it's about every moment. Like you said, Sajan, it is like recharging your phone or realigning the tires. And this is such an important point. Ultimately, meditation means staying in present, 100% in the moment, not thinking, not running around, not solving, and not even seeking, but being one with the present moment, being still and living inside out rather than outside in, which leads to only peace and happiness, and also to achieving goals of our lives easily. Like you both said, it is a perfect pathway to start with, depending on what resonates with each one, right? And the sooner we learn in life, the sooner we can benefit. And it seems like you both know very well what meditation means and what it adds to your life. So it looks like you both are on the perfect path, and may the younger generation get inspired and find their unique path and understand the importance of spirituality in their life. So thank you, Sajan and Raj, again for all what you shared. It was amazing. It was a treat listening to you both. I'll be looking forward to that video, and I'm not surprised that you are Hitendra ji's and Kalpana ji's sons. Very impressive, very touching. And thank you for all the time you gave me. And I'm going to request Hitendra ji and Kalpana ji to say a few words.
Okay. Jai Baba Swami, go ahead.
Jai Baba Swami. Yes, so Sajid and Raj, they do their meditation their own way. We will never force them what to do, how to do. We teach them when they were young. So now after they're grown up, they make their own decisions, what step need to be done. And I don't usually worry about them too much when they go out, because their inner voice will guide them which one positive way of looking at the world, or where need to be or where not to be there. So that's how I look at them, and we are very proud of them.
Thank you. So I would say, I remember Swamiji telling us that we were young parents. As you see, our kids were quite young when we met Swamiji. And many of the sadhaks in today's time are in the same stage where we were at that time, okay? And I want to share this, what Swamiji told us, and how word to word we kept it in our heart, mind, and in our life. You can see the testimony from the kids. Swamiji said, try not to become like any other Indian parents. Try not to force your children to go only for science or only go for doctors or engineers or things like that. Let your kids be who they want to be. And I use those words exactly. Of course, my parents have brought me up in such a way, Kalpana's parents have brought her up in such a way that we have very high moral values and family values. We were brought up in a nuclear family where mother, father, and siblings are very important to us. So action speaks louder than words. We did not try to teach them in words, but we practiced. From the day Swamiji left our house, we tried to meditate every day religiously without any exception. Because I believe that the foundation that is created in first 15 years of your life is going to make you who you are. I left Navsari at the age of 16 after completing my SSC, and I became the person who I was by the age of 16. Rest of the things I learned from the world is hardly 25%. 75% of who I am today as a person with my integrity and values are coming from Navsari. And that is the place Swamiji is staying. Okay, so kids will be what you are today and what you are setting example to them in today's life. My kids have seen me on the Gujarati Samaj platform serving everybody. My kids have seen me that from the time Swamiji left, we were doing daily meditation and once a week at home group meditation. The families that we had at the center, Swamiji told us, it is okay if you don't have 50 sadhaks, but if you have 5 sadhaks, make soulful relationships in such a way that you stand for each other, and whenever they are in trouble, you should sense it. They should not even use words to tell you that I am in pain. And that is what we feel, that any of the sadhak are in trouble, we feel the pain, and we will call them and they say, oh, I was thinking about you. This is the soulful family of Samarpan.
That is
Jai
so
Baba.
beautifully said, Hitendra ji and Kalpana ji. And it is such a good learning about, how to, take care of your kids and how to get connected to other souls. Before we move on, I want to make sure that Raj and Sajan, do you want to say anything to the audience, or we'll move ahead?
I could say one thing really quickly. This was a thought that came to me. Um, One of the biggest things that has helped me get through this pandemic, or go through it, is the fact that it allowed me to slow down. I was telling this to my work. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, especially when things were going on in March and April and June, etc. Like, we didn't know what was going to exactly happen. Um, that's life forcing us to live in the moment, live in today. And there's a beauty in kind of seeing that I don't have to worry about tomorrow, and I can just appreciate what's today. I'm sure a lot of us have been able to reconnect with some people that we haven't spoken with in a long time, or just spend more time with our family or our kids, or whatever it is, But that feeling of being in the present moment, I think that's emphasized heavily in meditation, and being able to just be here and not worry about what happened yesterday and not worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow. And whatever that feeling is, that peace, that energy, I think that's the biggest part that has always stood out to me. And I'm a little grateful for this moment that we're living through, because it just further allows me to realign and live today. So I would say cherish that for anybody that wants to pursue this.
Extremely beautifully put, Sajan, and that is such a great reminder. Even Guruji has been saying the same thing, and I'm very sure you're not listening to him, but your soul connection is like making you say exact those words. Very inspiring.
What Sajan said, it was perfect.
So, okay, so moving on to the next session, Sonal ji and Surika ji, all yours.
Thank you. What a switch to next generation and still see the same values and same surrender towards Samarpan. So it was a treat to get you on board, and you guys are so right that you're so blessed with having parents like Hitendra ji and Kalpana ji. They are raising not just you two, but us and many other our own kids too. My 21-year-old always chuckles when I talk about Hitendra ji with him. He's so fun, he's so cool. I don't know if you know that your dad is a cool dude in the next generation. So yeah, you must be very lucky, and not just my son. There are a lot of younger sadhaks or meditators in our group who really love to connect with Hitendra ji and Kalpana ji, like Sagar, Dhara, and they're raising a whole new community of kids here. So what a good segue to the next generation, which is Swamiji's dream to bring Samarpan in Americas also. So thank you for being part of it. I know you had to take day off from work and join us. And Shefali ji, what a beautifully conducted session with young souls here.
So we would go to listen to Minesh ji and Preeti ji.
Jai Baba Swami,
Jai Baba Swami, my name is Minesh.
and my name is Preeti.
I was introduced to Samarpan meditation in the year 2003. Hitendra Bhai was hosting the video shibir at that time, and I attended that video shibir. And right from that day, we decided, okay, we are going to do group meditation every weekend. And he used to host those group meditation, and one of the way that he touched our life was by having talks, spiritual talks rather, after the group meditation, and that just opened up a new world for us, a spiritual world. And it was really amazing how he explained every doubt that we had, cleared the doubt that we had, and his spiritual knowledge is really something at a different level, and we are so glad that we had that time together.
I met Hitendra Bhai in 2005, So I was introduced to meditation via Minesh because I saw a lot of improvement in him and improvement in our relationship, our personal relationship. And I noticed also that Minesh was, his thought process, everything was changing. So I said, okay, let me see what this is. So I went to the introduction to some meditation in 2005, also at Hitendra Bai's house. And I'm very happy that I did, because like Minesh said, Hitendra Bai is a very knowledgeable person spiritually, and even him, he has progressed quite extensively since 2005. And what I miss about Bai and Babi is we used to have our weekly meditations at his place on Sundays, and after the meditation we used to stay there and do our spiritual experiences, spiritual talks, questions, and he would answer all those things and clear our doubts. And this is how we became very close to each other. There was also other sadhaks that came on Sundays, and even them, they were very close to, we were a close-knit family at that time. Another thing I wanted to mention is that Hitendra Bai and Babi are one of the most important key people in the Samarpan meditation in the North Americas, because they were the first ones to bring Swamiji to Montreal. I guess a lot of people know this story, and Swamiji stayed at their house, and they had first-hand experience from Swamiji himself, and that's how our Samarpan family grew, thanks to him. And also, one other thing I like about Hitendra Bai is that he sees everybody equal. Like, he treats everybody as his own brother, his own sister, and he kept the whole Montreal Samarpan family as one big family. No separation. He treated everybody equally, and he included both of us also in any Guru Karya he did, that whether it's singing, whether it's making songs. When Swamiji came in 2009, all the program, the 3-day program, he included everybody in the Guru Karya, and we felt like we were part of his family. Another thing with Hitendra Bai is with both Bai and Babi's help, I had a lot of emotional baggage from my past, and he helped me let go of that via this meditation. And he's been very supportive in helping both of us focus on meditation, practicing mindfulness, which also helps us focus on the present, not the past. And also,
I would like to add that especially having spent so much time with Hitendra Bai on one-on-one, I really see that people say that you are a man of your word. I would say he's a man of his soul. He will always listen to his soul and do what his soul asks him to do. And I think it's one of the very key quality of people who are in spiritual world. And I think that's where he is at the place where he is at right now, because of that quality. And I see him as he's like my Guru Bhai, he taught me a lot of spirituality, and he actually involved me also in kind of a lot of Guru Karya, and that's how I also grew spiritually. And he is kind of a person that will uplift you in any situation that you are in, and he will guide you through to go through that situation and progress spiritually.
I also wanted to add that when we listening to Bai and Babi, when we listen to the way they talk about their experiences, the way they talk about their meditation, the way they talk about Swamiji and Guruma, I find that it brings not only me, but maybe others. But I feel like a lot of energy flowing through my body, through the crown. It's just being in their presence. Like Hitendra Bhai has such an amazing aura, and just being in his presence, it brings me so much joy. The minute he leaves my house, I'm like, where are you going? Stay with me. And I see a shadow of Swamiji in him. I see Swamiji in him, not a shadow. I see Swamiji in him, and it's something. It's very difficult to express, but it brings a big smile to my face whenever I see him. And I know that they have moved away to the States, which is another good thing because it has expanded the Samarpan family to the US. And that is his spiritual guide. And I just wanted to say that even though he's far away from us, from Montreal, he's very, very close to our hearts. And
He'll always be.
And we miss him a lot. And also, we wanted to thank him for being part of our life.
Very much.
For introducing us to this technique, for being a role model to us, and for introducing us to our soul, and for introducing us to Swamiji, because without this, we would not have had a big positive impact in our life, and I don't know.
I think you're getting emotional now.
And this is right here.
On the last note, we would like to pray to Swamiji that he always guide him on his onward journey, and he keep touching his many more lives in US and all over the world. And we thank him again from our bottom of the heart, and we wish him good luck. Jai Baba Swami.
Both of them.
Both
Not
of them.
just by both
Both of them.
Yeah.
And Bhavi is like a shadow supporting him in anything that he does, and it's like a perfect shadow of Swamiji and
it's like
Guru Ma.
YouTube, basically.
Yeah. So it's like a YouTube, as Swamiji says. So, all right. I mean, hopefully we'll see each other in future. And Jai Baba Swami.
Jai Baba Swami again.
Thank you very much, Minesh and Preeti. As I call in USA, Shefali is my right hand. Minesh was my right hand when I was in Montreal. Anything I need or I have to do, in fact, he was my right and left hand because he was always very devoted and supporting me in the projects that needed time, or sometimes I like to create the audio cassettes or song for Swamiji and send it to India. We will stay awake 2 o'clock at night, and we will complete the project to make sure that it reaches in time to India. So that kind of things. But it reminds me a lot of good memories. Thank you very much, Minesh, Preeti,